is Ravza.
Hello, this is Babza.
Welcome to Fun Facts with RNB.
Today we're going to share some facts about space.
Did you know that space is completely silent?
Did you know the number of stars? Nobody knows how many stars are in space.
Did you know neutron stars can spin 600 times per second?
Did you know there may be a planet made out of diamonds?
Did you know the footprints on the moon will be there for 100 million years?
Did you know one day on Venus is longer than 1 year?
Did you know in 3.75 billion years, the Milky Way and Andromeda galaxies will collide?
Did you know if two pieces of the same type of metal touch in space, they will permanently bond?
Did you know there's floating water in space?
Did you know the moon was once a piece of the Earth?
Did you know there's a volcano on Mars, 3 times the size of Everest?
If you scaled the Earth down to the size of a cue ball, it would be smoother than the ball, Everest included. On Saturn, it may rain millions of pounds of diamonds every year. The atmosphere has such high heat and pressure that scientists think it can squeeze carbon into diamonds in midair. Jupiter is so big that it doesn't even orbit the sun. It revolves around a spot just above the sun's surface. The sun orbits that spot too, so it wobbles a little. The fastest thing in the universe is a pulsar called PSR. It's a collapsed star that spins 716 times per second. The molecular cloud Sagittarius B contains over 2 octillion gallons of alcohol. That's a lot of gallons. Scientists think that it would taste like raspberry rum.
Ladies and gentlemen, space is completely silent. There is no atmosphere in space, which means that sound has no medium or way to travel to or to be heard. Astronauts use radios to stay in communication while in space, since radio waves can still be sent and received.
Nobody knows how many stars are in space. The sheer size of space makes it impossible to accurately predict just how many stars we have. Right now, scientists and astronomers use the number of stars only within our galaxy, the Milky Way, to estimate. That number is between 200 and 400 billion stars, and there are estimated to be billions of galaxies. So the stars in space really are completely uncountable.
Did you know neutron stars can spin 600 times per second? Neutron stars are the densest and tiniest stars in the known universe, and although they only have a radius of about 10 kilometers, they may have a mass of a few times that of the Sun. They can rotate at up 60 times per second after they are born from a core collapsed supernova star explosion, and have been known to spin as fast as 612 times per second because of their physics.
There may be a planet made out of diamonds. As space facts go, this is pretty impressive. Research by Yale University scientists suggests that a rocky planet called 55 Cancri, which has a radius twice Earth's and a mass 8 times greater, may have a surface made up of granite and diamonds. It's 40 light years away, but visible to the naked eye in the constellation of Cancer.
The footprints on the moon will be there for 100 million years. The moon has no atmosphere, which means that there is no wind to erode the surface and no water to wash the footprints away. This means the footprints of the Apollo astronauts, along with spacecraft prints, rover prints, and discarded material, will be there for millions of years.
Our good old solar system is actually a pretty bizarre place, well, with all its out-of-this-world phenomena that we humans haven't managed to explain yet. There are rumors that a gigantic, undiscovered planet is hiding behind Neptune. Volcanoes on Pluto spew ice, and a colossal canyon on Mars can accommodate the whole U.S. territory and most of Cleveland. Well, let's figure out if it's true by talking about the most mystifying solar system facts. The solar system is 4.6 billion years old. So old it's a senior solar system. Scientists came to this conclusion after they studied the oldest material they managed to get a hold of, and by that I mean meteorites, of course. You won't be able to wear a hat on Venus, ever. and just try to stand on your feet. The planet is insanely windy. Its upper winds blow 50 times faster than the planet rotates. What's more, these fierce winds never stop and can get even stronger with time. Want to get away? You'll have to travel 11 billion miles away from Earth before ever leaving the solar system. Take your Google Maps with you. You probably heard of methane gas, a byproduct of natural processes such as volcanic activity and cows. Anyway, this gas is not only a part of the Martian atmosphere, but also the thing that confuses astronomers to no end. The thing is that the volume of methane on Mars keeps wavering, and scientists just can't figure out where it might be coming from. Can there be cows on Mars? As you may remember, Pluto used to be a planet but was stripped of this title in 2006. Later, it was reclassified as a dwarf planet. Gee, make up your mind. But the most unexpected fact about this celestial body is that its diameter is smaller than that of the US. See for yourself. The greatest distance across the country, from Maine to Northern California, is about 2,800 miles. As for Pluto, it's only 1,473 miles across. In fact, if you laid Pluto right down in the middle of the United States, you'd crush the heck out of Iowa, Kansas, and Nebraska. Bad idea. The planet Uranus, or Uranus, you can't win either way, rotates on its side, and astronomers have no idea why the planet has chosen such an unusual position. The culprits could be ancient mega-powerful collisions, but so far it's just a theory. By the way, this is the only planet laying on its side. Our Sun is insanely massive. Want some proof? Well, 99.86% of all the mass in the solar system is in the mass of the Sun, in particular the hydrogen and helium it's made of. The remaining 0.14% is mostly the mass of the solar system's 8 planets. Earth might not be the only tectonically active planet in the solar system. Astronomers have spotted some landforms looking like cliffs on Mercury. If it's so, the tectonic activity could explain the rapid shrinking of the planet. In most sci-fi movies about space, the main character gets into an asteroid belt and must dodge countless rocks that threaten to damage their spacecraft. Well, sorry to disappoint, but that's nothing like the real thing. The only asteroid belt astronomers know about is located between Mars and Jupiter. There are thousands of asteroids in this region, but they're so widely spaced that the chance of collision is next to nothing. You just ruined it. Sorry. Behind the orbit of Neptune lies the mysterious Kuiper Belt, filled with massive icy objects. The most curious thing about this space formation, though, is that scientists can't explain the pattern of its movement. The only explanation they have is that Neptune might be hiding a ginormous planet from our sight. This hypothetical planet has already got the name Planet 9, and all we have to do is wait until its existence is confirmed. Or not. Volcanoes on Earth are as different from those on Pluto as fire and ice, and I mean it. While we have volcanoes spilling lava on our planet, the volcanoes on Pluto spit ice. When frozen water expands, and this enormous pressure builds up until one day, bang, the ice erupts. In the process, a new cryovolcano gets formed. One of Saturn's moons, Lepidus, has a unique color. It's two-tone. One of its hemispheres is light and the other is eerily dark. Scientists haven't figured out this mystery yet. There's another weird thing about Pluto, or rather, about its atmosphere. First, it rises way higher above the surface of the dwarf planet than, for example, the Earth's atmosphere. What's more, the atmosphere on Pluto has more than 20 layers, and all of them are super cold and very condensed. We live inside the Sun. No, I don't mean that we're inhabitants of the red-hot ball of light approximately 93 million miles away. The thing is that the Sun's atmosphere stretches far beyond its visible surface, and our planet is right within its reach. In fact, it's the gusts of solar wind that create the breathtaking phenomenon known as the Northern and Southern Lights. The ocean on Jupiter is larger than any other on the rest of the solar system's planets. But wait, it's not the type of ocean you're thinking about. The one on Jupiter isn't made of water. This mesmerizing thing consists of metallic hydrogen, and its depth is a staggering 25,000 miles, which is almost the same as the circumference of the Earth. The Sun's atmosphere is hotter than the surface of the star. While on the surface, the temperature reaches 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, the upper atmosphere heats up to millions of degrees. Scientists suspect that explosive bursts of heat from the Sun may have something to do with this unique phenomenon. People came to know about Saturn's beautiful rings in the 1600s, but only recently it became apparent that Saturn isn't the only ringed planet. All the gas giant planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Jupiter, have rings of their own, but they're thin and almost impossible to see. As for Mars, Venus, and Earth, they're made of rocky materials and have no rings whatsoever. Our solar system isn't the only one in the Milky Way galaxy. Far from it. The galaxy we live in houses about 100 billion solar systems. And if that's just our galaxy alone, can you imagine how many there are in the whole universe? At any given moment here on Earth, you can stumble across a rock that's arrived from Mars. After scientists analyzed the chemical content of some meteorites found in the Sahara Desert, Antarctica, and other places on our planet, they came to the shocking conclusion that they have a Martian origin. Since Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, many people simply assume that it's also the hottest, and that's where they get it wrong, because, in fact, Venus, which is about 30 million miles further from the Sun than Mercury, is way hotter. The thing is that Venus has an incredibly thick atmosphere, which is 100 times denser than the one we have on Earth. On top of that, this atmosphere consists almost entirely of carbon dioxide, also known as a greenhouse gas. These factors make the temperatures on the planet rise to a staggering 875 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hot enough to melt lead. As for Mercury, its maximum temperatures reach only 800 degrees. Jupiter's moon, Io, exists in never-ending chaos due to hundreds of smoking volcanoes on its surface. If you ever visit this place, send me a postcard. Now, you'll see the smoke from these volcanoes billowing up high into Io's atmosphere. The most enormous volcano in the whole solar system, at least that we know of, is on Mars. The size of this monster is almost as great as the state of Arizona, and its height is as big as that of Mount Everest. How did it grow this huge? The answer is simple. There's much less gravity on Mars in comparison with our planet. Even if you're a tiny celestial body, you can still have a moon of your own. Hey, it's not that hard. In 1993, the Galileo probe was traveling past a miniature asteroid that was no bigger than 20 miles across, and discovered the little thing had a 1-mile-wide moon. Since then, astronomers have found tons of moons orbiting minor planets in our solar system. The valley called Valles Marineris on Mars is more than 10 times larger than Earth's Grand Canyon. And it's another thing that puzzles astronomers. After all, Mars isn't a planet with active plate tectonics. On the surface of Jupiter, there's a weird region that's called the Great Red Spot. Recently, astronomers have concluded that this spot is actually a storm that's been raging on the planet for centuries. But some 20 years ago, scientists noticed that the red region started to shrink. Nowadays, it's just half the size it used to be. And still, the spot is 1.5 times bigger than Earth.
One day on Venus is longer than 1 year. Venus has a slow axis rotation, which takes 243 Earth days to complete its day. The orbit of Venus around the Sun is 225 Earth days, making a year on Venus 18 days less than a day on Venus.
In 3.75 billion years, the Milky Way and Andromeda galaxies will collide. The Andromeda galaxy is approaching the Milky Way, where our solar system is, at rate of around 110 kilometers per second, and eventually the two will collide to form a giant elliptical galaxy.
If two pieces of the same type of metal touch in space, they will permanently bond. This incredible fact is also known as cold welding, and it happens because the atoms of two pieces of metal have no way of knowing they are separate. This doesn't happen on Earth. because of the air and water found between the pieces.
There's floating water in space. Astronomers have found a massive water vapor cloud which holds 140 trillion times the mass of water in the Earth's ocean, somewhere around 10 billion light years away, making it the largest discovery of water ever found.
The moon was once a piece of the Earth. The theory is that when Earth was a relatively young planet, it was struck by a giant object, and this collision broke a piece of the Earth away to create the moon. This piece then began to orbit the Earth as a result of its gravitational pull.
There is a volcano on Mars 3 times the size of Everest. At a 600 kilometers wide and 21 kilometers high, Olympus Mons is a volcano on Mars that may still be active, according to scientists. It is the tallest peak of any planet. However, Relziva Central Peak on the asteroid Vesta is taller at 22 kilometers.
Many thanks for watching Fun Facts with RNB Space episode number 1. Stay tuned to Fun Facts with RNB on NTR. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This video is brought to you by Skillshare. As you're about to learn, the universe is a big and wonderful place. And if you're interested in learning more about it or perhaps weaving some space themes into your personal art, Skillshare's got your back. With classes in nightscape astrophotography, you can learn how to capture stunning images of the Milky Way. And with plenty of Photoshop classes to teach you how to make your own custom digital space assets, you'll learn how to make your own universe in no time. Premium membership will give you unlimited access to topics that will improve your skills and in the process your life. The first 1,000 people to sign up by visiting the link in the description will receive 2 months of Skillshare absolutely free. Join Skillshare and start learning today. As has been famously said, space is the final frontier, the greatest of unknowns. Space is far more vast than we can comprehend and filled with phenomena we barely understand. While we've been watching the heavens in awe for millennia, space exploration and discovery only began in earnest in the mid-20th century. Yet even what are no doubt our primitive findings still point at a universe more incredible than we ever thought. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Infographics Show. Today we're taking a look at 50 incredible facts about space. 50. Until 1923, scientists thought that the entire universe was just our Milky Way, until astronomer Edwin Hubble discovered that the astronomical feature known as Andromeda, a fuzzy spot in the night sky, was actually an entire other galaxy. Overnight, the size of the universe was effectively doubled. 49. Hubble made his discovery from the Hooker telescope, built atop a mountain in California. It was the first mountaintop telescope in the world and at the time, an incredible feat of engineering. 48. To measure the distance between galaxies in space, astronomers use Cepheids, or stars that periodically dim and brighten. Henrietta Leavitt discovered that by monitoring the time it took these stars to dim and brighten, you could calculate how far away they were. 47. Leavitt's discovery of how to calculate the distance based on the cycling of Cepheid stars allowed Hubble to prove that Andromeda was located outside the Milky Way and was thus its own galaxy. 46. Hubble scanned Andromeda for nights on end looking for Cepheid stars until finally discovering one in October 1923. After monitoring it for a week, he used Leavitt's formula and discovered it was indeed located outside the Milky Way. 45. In 2011, the Hubble Space Telescope captured a picture of that star, called the Variable Number 1 or V1. It has been called the most important star in the history of cosmology. 44. Of all the planets in our solar system, only Mercury and Venus don't have moons. 43. The hottest planet in our solar system is not Mercury, as most would assume, but Venus. Due to runaway global warming, Venus's temperature is an incredible 863 degrees Fahrenheit. 42. Not only is Venus's atmosphere blazing hot, but it also has an atmospheric pressure 92 times greater than Earth's. That would crush you flat as a soda can if you walked on its surface. 41. In 1966, the Soviet Union's Venera 3 was the first man-made craft to land on Venus. Unfortunately, its communication systems had failed long before reaching Venus, and it was unable to relay back any data. 40. Although it crash-landed and didn't send any data back home, Venera 3 is the first human-made object to impact another planet's surface. 39. On the 18th of October 1967, Venera 4 became the first spacecraft to measure the atmosphere of another planet. The Soviets initially claimed the craft reached the surface intact, but when the American Mariner 5 spacecraft flew by Venus the very next day, it measured a surface pressure of 75 to 100 atmospheres, well out of the range of Venera 4's 25 atmosphere hull strength. The claim by the Soviet Union was quickly redacted. 38. Venus's atmosphere is so dense that parachutes are only necessary to slow down. The Soviet Union's Venera 9 released its parachutes at an atmospheric height of 31 miles and landed at a speed of only 15 miles per hour. It was also the first spacecraft to transmit photos from another planet. 37. Our solar system is about 4.6 billion years old, and scientists believe it will last another 5 billion years before our sun turns into a red giant. 36. The tallest mountain known to man is Olympus Mons, an extinct volcano on Mars, with a peak 15 miles high. It's nearly 3 times larger than Mount Everest. 35. A light year is the distance light travels in 1 year, or 5.88 trillion miles. 34. The width of our Milky Way galaxy, according to NASA, is about 1 quintillion kilometers, or 621 quadrillion 371 trillion 192 billion 237 million 333,888 miles, or in astronomical terms, 100,000 light years. 33. Because most stars are so far away, when you look up into the night sky, you're not seeing them as they currently are, but as they were thousands of years ago. That's how long their light takes to reach us. 32. Our sun is 300,000 times larger than the Earth, but in the universe, it's a lightweight. 31. The largest star in the known universe is VY Canis Majoris. It's 1,400 times larger than our own sun. If you stuck it in our solar system, it would extend all the way past Jupiter. 30. Red giants are really old stars that form when stars 10 times the mass of our sun runs out of hydrogen in its core. As it collapses, the hydrogen in the outer shells begin the process of fusion, and the entire star begins fusing hydrogen all at once. They will burn through all of their fuel in just a few million years, unlike the billions it takes our sun, and shine 100,000 times brighter than our own sun. 29. These stars often explode as a supernova, the most powerful explosion in the universe. 28. The original universe consisted solely of hydrogen and helium. Every other element on the periodic table and every single thing you see around you today was formed in the heart of exploding stars. 27. That's because when a star goes supernova, it releases huge amounts of energy and neutrons, which produces heavier elements. The carbon in your body and the gold in the jewelry you wear were all made from exploding stars. 26. Only hydrogen and helium were formed in the Big Bang. The next time you suck down helium from a party balloon, you are sucking down a gas that probably formed just 3 minutes after the Big Bang. 25. Red giant Betelgeuse, 1,000 times larger than our sun, is a cosmic neighbor and expected to go supernova in the next 1,000 years. 24. Some scientists theorize that life is only possible in the outer edges of a galaxy, where large stars are rare and thus supernovas don't routinely sterilize worlds of life. 23. We ourselves are between 2 arms of the Milky Way and in a relatively rural part of the galaxy. 22. Extending well past the orbit of Pluto is a massive sphere of icy objects known as the Oort cloud. These are remnants from the formation of the solar system, held in place by the weak gravity of the very distant sun. 21. Every few million years as we orbit the center of the Milky Way, we enter a region of space full of cosmic debris. Some scientists theorize that this debris may disturb the fragile orbits of the objects in the Oort cloud and send them hurtling into the solar system. The timing of our entry into this region of the Milky Way coincides with several mass extinction events here on Earth. 20. Panspermia is the theory that life is transmitted like a virus from planet to planet by asteroid and comet impacts. 19. A meteorite discovered in Antarctica was found to originate from Mars, and after careful examination, some scientists believe it shows fossilized evidence of microscopic organisms, giving serious credibility to the panspermia theory. We might all actually be Martians. 18. It's thought that this meteorite was launched into space from Mars when a massive asteroid struck the planet, sending debris hurtling out of the atmosphere. In time, its orbit intersected with the Earth and may have brought its Martian hitchhikers with it. 17. In 2008, an ESA mission sent tardigrades, tiny microscopic organisms, into space. After 10 days of exposure to the vacuum of space, ultraviolet radiation from the sun, and cosmic rays, they were returned to Earth still alive. 16. Before the tardigrades, only some lichen and bacteria were known to survive exposure to space, meaning panspermia may be a valid theory for the origin of life on Earth. 15. Because there's no atmosphere on the moon, the footprints and tire prints left on the moon by American astronauts will never disappear unless an asteroid impact wipes them out. 14. Not only does Jupiter have the most moons in our solar system, with 79, but as of right now it has the most moons of any known planet in our galaxy. 13. Many scientists think that without Jupiter, life on Earth would be impossible. That's because the giant of our solar system exerts such a strong gravity that it pulls in many comets and asteroids that might have impacted Earth. Jupiter is like our personal bodyguard. 12. Once thought rare outside of the Earth, water has been found practically everywhere in the solar system, even on Mercury, where scientists never dreamed it would be possible. In 2011, NASA's MESSENGER probe discovered water ice and craters on Mercury's North Pole. That's despite a surface temperature of 800 degrees Fahrenheit on the day side. 11. Not only does Earth rotate as it orbits the Sun, but the Sun itself also rotates at a rate of once every 25 to 35 days. 10. Earth is the only solar system planet not named after a god. 9. Pluto is smaller in diameter than the United States. 8. The first theory positing the existence of black holes was from an English clergyman named John Mitchell in November 1784. He even correctly noted that these features would not be visible to the naked eye, but that they could be detected by their gravitational effects on other bodies. 7. Despite proving through general relativity that black holes could form, Einstein himself did not believe they could form in the natural world. It wouldn't be until 1972 that Cygnus X1 became the first observed black hole, taking them from the realm of theory to the realm of reality. 6. In 2002, astronomers presented evidence that a supermassive black hole lurks at the center of our own Milky Way. 5. In 2012, Suvi Jazari and his team published the first visual evidence of a black hole. Using the Pan-STARRS 1 telescope in Hawaii, they photographed the supermassive black hole 2.7 million light-years away, swallowing a red giant. 4. In 2015, gravity waves from the merging of a pair of black holes into one were detected. The violence of their merging created a ripple through space-time that was detectable here on Earth millions of light-years away. 3. Not only did general relativity predict that black holes were possible, but it also predicted that white holes could also be possible. The polar opposite of a black hole, a white hole is a region of spacetime where matter cannot enter. 2. A growing theory suggests that white holes are the opposite ends of black holes, and that our own Big Bang was a supermassive white hole that existed for fractions of a second. 1. Afraid that returning astronauts might be carrying unknown and deadly lunar germs, the Apollo astronauts were quarantined immediately after their arrival on Earth.